Hey everyone, it's Corey of Blue Falcon Board Gaming. If you're new to the channel, I'm a United States Marine Corps veteran that started the Blue Falcon Board Gaming group in the Huntington, West Virginia, and Ohio and Kentucky tri-state area, with the hopes of promoting board games as a way to promote positive mental health, as well as to make board games more accessible to the community by hosting and co-hosting events. Today I have Carl Hamlin here with me. Carl, would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure thing. My name's Carl Hamlin. I work as a reference assistant here at the Cabell County Public Library in downtown Huntington, West Virginia. And I guess the reason I'm on here is because our library recently purchased a board game collection.
Awesome. So do you want to talk about how you were able to get that purchase? Was it through grants? Was it through a fundraiser? What was the origins of that?
Yeah, well, I think I need to back up a little further as to maybe, not to get you out of order here, but I'd like to talk why we decided to get a board game collection, and it'll lead into the fundraiser.
Absolutely.
So what happened was we recently had a change in directors at the library, and so we have a new director looking for kind of new energy, new programming, and plus in the library world in general, there's been a lot of kind of buzz around library of things, meaning that libraries check out non-traditional library items, including board games, which I realize that is not new at all, but for us it is brand new. We have traditionally not checked out non-book items, besides maybe movies and CDs, things like that. So she was looking for ideas, and I'm also in library school at the moment, and a lot of my classmates had been talking about board games collection, so it was kind of in my mind, and I went to her. I had written a proposal, and I went to our new director, and I said, hey, what's the feasibility of this proposal? Is there any way that we can get board games in the library? And she said, I love the idea, but there's no money for it, especially if we haven't proven a need. So she said, if you're able to raise some money and prove a need, then we might consider moving forward with a permanent board game collection. And that, back to your question about the money for this collection, the financial officer for our library suggested that I just post a Facebook fundraiser because that's the easiest way for money to go directly to the library. And it turned out really well. We had a couple local influencers and just people in the community that wanted to see a board game collection. We were able to raise, in the matter of about a week, it was just short of $600, I believe.
Nice. So what kind of games were you able to get with those funds?
Well, I had originally proposed it as an adult collection, but I knew that we needed a mix of games, something for everyone. So we definitely went for that mix of new and classic board games. So I didn't want to just go on what I knew. You know, I knew a couple of standards like Catan and Pandemic from my college days, but I wasn't sure if that's what people were playing anymore. So I actually polled the staff here at the library, and we just compiled the most common selections, and I bought as many as I could. $600 sounds like a lot, but it doesn't get you very far with a lot of modern board games.
Not at all.
I think we did a pretty good job getting a fairly decent collection. I think we've got about 30 games.
Yeah, that's really good. So you guys have been doing a Saturday board game club. Do you want to talk about that? Maybe give the hours, the upcoming dates, anything like that?
Yeah, so every other Saturday from 12 p.m. to 4 p.m. The next one won't actually be until January 14th due to the holidays. But every other weekend we meet, and we just have 4 hours where adults and families, supervised children, teens, anyone that wants to come and play some board games, they're free to partake of our collection. And we also try to provide some snacks and drinks. And that's here at the... Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say that's only at the downtown library, 5th Avenue and 9th Street here in Huntington.
What's the turnout been like for you guys starting that out?
Unfortunately, any library programming is kind of a hard sell for whatever reason. It seems like we're not as attractive as like a coffee shop or a hobby shop is. But our reception, we have a small but loyal following. It kind of wavers between, I would say it averages 5 people with a minimum of about 3 people and a maximum of 12 people. So a small but loyal group.
Which is pretty typical, at least for around here. I mean, even with with Cicada Books and Coffee, they do their stuff on Friday nights, and it's been a month since I've been able to make it to it. But we probably have 12, kind of fluctuate between 8 and 12. We usually have to have either 2 groups or 3 groups going
that's awesome.
before and stuff. So, I've met you because I'd started talking to the Lawrence County Library director about getting stuff for the Lawrence County Library. And at that time, I'd called around to all the libraries and nobody had anything. And I wanted to kind of start with Lawrence County since I live in Ohio. I'm just right across the river. And he was like, I love it. He's like, I'm a board game nerd of like 14 years. He's like, I know this is, like new for this area. He's like, run some events and see if there's any interest. The first time we had 10 people show up, maybe.
Yeah, that's
Second
great.
time it was kind of like 8-ish, and then it started to like dwindle to like 4, and then the last time there was nobody, so it was just like me sitting there.
Yeah, I don't know if you had this issue, but one of the things I've run into is that initially people they brought all these different ideas of what the board game day was going to entail, and so I think that as we've solidified what we are and what we aren't, that's actually prevented a few of those people that originally were coming. They saw like, oh, maybe this isn't what I thought it was going to be. And just that core group remains.
Yeah. And I'm going to try to make it back to, you said January 14th. I'm going to try to make it back to that because I had to kind of ghost a little bit in November just for some mental health stuff. So I didn't do a ton of stuff with the channel. You were the first interview I've done in month and a half now, I believe.
Thank you. Well, I really appreciate the opportunity, by the way.
Yeah, I appreciate you coming on. But trying to get it better paced out because I was definitely burning myself out with doing, 3 events a week on top of
I'm sure
multiple interviews a week on top of, I just started a new position at my job. And it was 6 weeks of training for that, and just
doing anything in addition to a full-time job is a lot. Yeah.
And it's not like I'm not treating this as a business or anything. I don't make money off of it. I sink a ton of money into it. It's more of just a hobby, and I'm like, I don't want this hobby to become work. So I'm like, I had to step back and kind of reevaluate a little bit with scheduling and stuff. But yeah, you make my 12th interview, man. I didn't think
Congratulations.
I would have done this many yet. So what's the plan looking like moving forward with it? Are you guys trying to get more funding or anything to expand your selection, or how's that working?
So far, this is all just speaking in theoreticals, but so far I would say that we have not really proven enough support for the collection to garner an official funding channel for it. What will probably happen if we don't see an increase in use is we'll just hold like maybe a yearly fundraiser. I was thinking in the next 6 months or a year, put a fundraiser out to help continue to develop the collection and see if we still have that community support or not.
So it started as the club meeting, and you could check games out and have to keep them in the librry, but now you can actually check them out. And take them home.
So originally when we bought the collection, we were going to plan to keep the games in the library and only allow them for use in the library. And we also thought that maybe librarians in other positions around the county could also borrow our games and host their own game nights. And we also were hoping that we have some tutors through the Tri-State Literacy Council that meet here at the library, and we were hoping that they might take advantage of some of the games as well. And what we saw was we just weren't getting enough in-house use. People came and saw the collection, and they said, oh, that's great, the library has games. How many can I take home or whatever? And it's like, well, unfortunately, you can't take it home, but you're welcome to bring your family and play or whatever. And that just wasn't going over super well, so we decided these materials are here for people to use, so if they need to take them home to use them, then so be it. We need to make it happen.
Have you had any issues with that yet as far as pieces and stuff like that, or box damage, anything?
No, so far, everyone that has borrowed a game and taken it home has been great and returned all the pieces, all the original packaging. And I've heard if you talk to other libraries with board games, at least the ones I've talked to, have told me they've had the same experience where the loss of pieces is less than you might think at a public library. Because generally the people getting these games they're so excited to have access to these games that they tend to stay respectful to the property, and they want to return it so they can get another game.
Yeah. Yeah, that's great, man. I love it.
I will say we did learn a lesson just here this past week where we've learned not to put small card games on display because we did have one walk away and out the door. So
that's
I don't know if Uno will ever come back to us, but it's gone.
So is there anything any games that you're looking forward to playing or anything like that? Like how big into board games are you now past the Catan and pandemic?
Well, like I said, for me, board games were like a throwback to my college days. I haven't really had an opportunity to play them much since then. And so I was kind of excited about going back to like Catan, Ticket to Ride, Pandemic. And actually that Catan and Pandemic have been two that we have never played in Board Game Club. For whatever reason, everyone's just always interested in something else, or we have, one of our regulars who and I know, I won't name him on here, but he always likes to bring his games and show them off. So we've been playing a lot of different games. I'm sorry, I kind of blanked on, what was the question again?
Is there anything that you're looking forward to playing right now, or, how involved have you been?
Yeah.
Has it gotten you more involved into the board games?
Oh, yeah, definitely. There's two in particular have really impressed me here lately. I don't remember when it was. Someone showed me how to play Dixit, and we played with a small group. I really loved that. And I really loved, I just learned Azul this past weekend. Someone showed me how to play that. And I was really intimidated by looking at the instruction book, but once I was shown how to play, it was a lot of fun, and that's one that I can't wait to show others how to play.
Yeah,
and actually, speaking of the January 14th meeting, our next meeting, I did promise someone that I would learn how to play the Disney Villainous game, and so I could kind of demonstrate that game at our next meeting.
Nice. Yeah, I've got... what is it? I've got the core game, the Marvel version of it. I'm trying to look through my ring light here at my shelf. And then 3 expansions, too. So if you want to, I can bring those with me and stuff. Because all of the rules are the same. That way you just have more character options.
Yeah, that'd be great.
So is there any... I'm trying to think here how to word it. Is there any unforeseen, positives that have came out of this? Has there been anything that, a touching story or something from somebody that checked out a game or something like that?
So far, nothing too noteworthy. I will say we did have one day where a employer had booked one of our public meeting rooms. And what happened was one of the managers came in and getting ready for the meeting. And she was like, oh darn, I was supposed to bring board games to this meeting and totally forgot. And then she got on our elevator and saw one of our flyers and was like, they have board games at the library. And she was able to take these board games up for some type of, employer day here at the library.
So I said, what company's doing board games at their meetings? Yeah. I need to switch jobs.
Yeah. It must have just been some morale or, team building exercise or something of that nature.
Nice. So is there anything else that you want people to know about? Is there, what does it take to become a member of the Cabell County Library to be able to access this?
Becoming a member of the library is very straightforward and easy. It's completely free. And you may even already have a library card that works here. If you have a library card for any of the surrounding counties in West Virginia, like Putnam or Wayne, those cards all work here. And if you've never had one before, you can come to our front desk, or you can go online and find the application on our website and email it to them. And all you will need to show them is a photo ID with your current address. And if your current address is not on your ID, they may ask you for a secondary form of address, like a piece of mail that's been sent to you recently.
Okay. And then what are the hours for the library for people to be able to sign up?
So, yeah, here at the main library in downtown Huntington, we are open 9 a.m. to 8:30 on Mondays, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. on Tuesday through Friday, and Saturdays we're open 9 a.m. to 5 a.m., closed Sundays.
Gotcha. All right. And then what's a way that the community can support the board game club and stuff as well, other than just showing up? Is there?
So yeah, we're not always great about asking, but the library can always use money. So there is a PayPal on our website I'm sure you can access. But really, I don't think officially I'm not supposed to ask people for money, so disregard that maybe. But the easiest thing you can do if you want to support gaming at the library is check out our board games, come to our board game meetings, and if you have any old board games you're not using that are still in good condition, or if there's a new board game out you're just really excited for other people to try, donate your copy to us, and we'll add it to the collection and let people access it for free.
Awesome. I actually have a second copy of Marvel United. It's still in the shrink, so
well, you're
with me on
you're welcome to donate it, but no obligation, no pressure.
Yeah, no, it's a second copy, and for whatever reason, it was on Amazon, and it was a big deal on Amazon that they were doing, and it's like you got the Into the Spider-Verse version as well as the base game for cheaper than what the base game usually was, and I was like,
okay, yeah,
I've got the base game, but I don't have the Into the Spider-Verse one, so I got it that way. So yeah, I'll bring that, and you guys can have it. It's super fun, real easy. I mean, I would say probably 8 and up could play it as long as they could, make some sense of the symbols. There's really not a whole lot of reading to it.
Yeah.
Some of the locations and stuff, you have a little bit of text there, but if they're playing with an adult, they would know the location and stuff. But all the gameplay itself is mainly just symbols. There's only 4 symbols that they would have to know. So
yeah.
All right. Well, Carl, I appreciate the time, man. And
yeah, thank you very much.
Looking forward to seeing you on the 14th. And I love this, man, because it's like I was talking to the Briggs Library, trying to get stuff going. And then like that next week is whenever somebody had pointed me towards you guys in the fundraiser just ended. So.
Oh, and since you bring up Briggs, can I just say real quick, you can double dip on library cards, and you don't have to be a West Virginia resident to have a West Virginia library card. So, anyone in Ohio, Kentucky can get one as well, and it's completely free unless if you're out of the tri-state, they might charge a fee, but I don't know of them actually ever having charged anyone a fee except if they're like across the country.
All right. Well, I appreciate it. Is there anything else you want to end on?
Come play our board games.
All right, man. Have a good night.
Thank you. You too.